Hi, everyone. Mitch from PickDogs.com, and it is Saturday, February 11th, 2023, here with your live show. We're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is that Saturday before the Super Bowl, always one of the most loaded college basketball cards of the year as far as volume goes. It's kind of they try and get everything out the door, and NBA as well. There's been a couple years recently where they kind of really lightened up on the other sports schedule on Super Bowl Sunday, and then they realized the game doesn't start till 6:30. We could squeeze in a couple games. So we do have some games tomorrow, not a ton, but today, absolutely loaded card. The number one question I get around this time of year, oh, you guys must be really busy with the Super Bowl. But I got to say, Super Bowl is just another day. Big Al's laughing behind the scenes because he knows that he probably gets that same question all the time. And it's kind of like, it's almost like a day off for us. It's like, it's a light schedule. And to me, it's just another game on the schedule. And I know it's the biggest prop day of the year, but I don't believe for the sports books, it makes up that huge of a chunk of their handle for the year either. Any idea on that, Al?
hold on.
I saw a number.
I was on mute. I don't know.
I forget what it was, but it was a really, really very, very small number. That was the percentage of their overall handle what the Super Bowl is. But they did say it's the biggest day for props by far. It's like it's not even close. So it's
I was one of the reasons I was laughing, with what you just said about because you're right. We get that all the time. You must be really busy. And I always say this, there are more college basketball games played over a 4-day period than there are NFL games the entire season.
Yep. It's crazy.
It's like, no, we're busy because we're handicapping Saturday college basketball, not because of the Super Bowl.
It's like I use the this time of year, it's like, we have other couples that want to go out to dinner or something. And I use the I gotta work card, more often this time of year than any other time. And I have it, it's like if it's Wednesday night or Tuesday night, it's like it's not gonna happen. It's like those nights are loaded. And of course, Friday night, just forget it. I start probably at 5 o'clock the day before.
I started at 4 p.m.
It was a hell of a big card today. And of course, you've been on a heater and a half here trying to keep the ball rolling. It's sometimes easier to nudge the boulder down the hill than to keep it up there. You're just gonna. I know what you're gonna say. I'll put the words in your mouth. I'm famous for doing that anyway. And it's like you just stick to what you do. It's like there's no. I'm not gonna play it. I know people. People that are like they'll be hit the top of the leaderboard, and then all of a sudden it's one play a day. If you could even squeeze that out of them.
Yeah, I just do what I do. If I can go 3-9 or 9-3. Just keep on doing it.
Well, it's been a lot of 9-3s over the last couple of weeks, so let's see if you can keep it going. What do you got for us today as far as a free pick to get the show rolling?
We're going to look at the Georgia Bulldog Kentucky Wildcat matchup. They played earlier this year. Kentucky won that ball game by 14 points. Kentucky's favored by 7.5 today in Athens. Georgia is on a 3-game losing streak. But I like them in this revenge role. If you take a look at SEC teams at home or on neutral courts, if they're playing with revenge and off 3 or more losses, they've got 82-61 ATS. And then Georgia's 11-2 at home this season. And in college basketball, home dogs of more than 4 points, if they've won at least 11 home games and lost 2 or less home games on the season, those teams have gone 143-93 ATS going back to 1990. So I think Georgia's in a really good spot here. Kentucky on the road has failed to cover the spread by 3.58 points per game. I'm just going to grab the 7.5 with the Bulldogs.
Well, Ron Romanelli's strategy is generally just fade Georgia no matter what. Hates the coach and the team. So we'll have to see what he has to say because he's up, I believe, next. We'll have to ask him if he has any rebuttal on that. But, Kentucky just hasn't seemed to really fire 100% yet this year. Normally it's like they have a team that, a bunch of guys that haven't played together. They kind of have that excuse that they building, and then they get to March, and that's when they hope to be peaking. If they are, then they go on a run. If they don't, that's an early exit. But this year, it's weird because they have a lot of the same players, but they haven't really
been
anything consistent.
I've played on them a couple times. I think I had them back when they beat Georgia by 14. I think I had them in that game, but they've been underwhelming.
I've been avoiding them as much, for the good part of the season. I had Kansas against them. I think that's the only play I can remember in a Kentucky game. I think I took them against Florida.
I did too,
and I got the push. Yeah, I got the push instead of the win. But of course, you got the Florida ex-coach at Georgia, and that's part of what Romanelli experienced that firsthand at Gainesville, and which has been nothing but it used to be the swamp that no one wanted to go to, and now it's just a mud puddle of disappointment. But anyways, do you have another pick for us?
Yeah, this play I don't like as much as Georgia, but I like Utah a little bit over Colorado just because of the price, and they're playing at home. Utah's 82-40 ATS at home when they're playing 571 or better opponents. When they're priced from pick'em to -10 here, they're favored by 4. So I like Utah in this price range.
Yeah, Colorado had that early season win against Tennessee, but they never really were able to maintain that level throughout the course of the season. For Utah, it was seen as kind of a comeback year, back to prominence. They were always a good team, especially at home, but they haven't really been able to establish that home court. They got the head coach from Utah State 2 years ago to come over to Utah, but it hasn't really. I mean, the Pac-12, it's kind of like UCLA, Arizona, and everybody else. At this point, I still think USC and Oregon are two good teams that
they're decent. Yeah, I mean they're decent, but just not in the same class.
Yeah, Oregon I think was more dangerous. USC, we saw them last year in the tournament against Miami, and they kind of just fell flat on their face. They couldn't have looked in the flat.
I had USC in that game. That was disappointing.
I had Miami. I always take Miami in the tournament games. I blindly bet my homer play.
Yeah.
But what do you got for sale today as the streak continues? You had another winning day yesterday.
40 wins, 11 losses and then 2 pushes the last 53. So
this is the sounding like a broken record that no one ever gets sick of, right? It's like another win.
I mean, we'll see what happens. You're only as good as your last day, so hopefully
I don't know. I think you have a lot of monthly and yearly subscribers that might say differently, and probably will give you the benefit of the doubt. I always find that we're always a little tougher on ourselves than most of the people that buy our picks, and I think that there are a few people out there that are tougher than we are on our picks, and those are the people that it probably is not for them. It's like they're just looking for a place for an excuse. So there's nothing you can do to help them.
Yeah. So last Saturday I was 17-1 with 2 pushes. Today I've got 16 plays now. I might add 2 more, so we might go to 18 when all is said and done. I've got a college basketball conference game of the year. I've got 12 college plays right now. I've got 3 plays in the NBA and 1 play in hockey, and then I've also got my NFL total of the year tomorrow in the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, as we say, any advice on the Super Bowl for people as far as it's just another game type thing, like I always say. I
mean, I think just have fun with it, because it's a great game to watch, and if folks are looking for opinions, they should watch the show we did, me, you, and Jay. The NFL show. We gave out our picks on the Super Bowl.
So I'll let you go in just a second, but do you think it's a little bit tougher to handicap the side? You said you had your total of the year, but is it a little tougher to handicap the side because you have the teams with the 2 best records, so they're going to match up well against each other?
No. I just think every game's different. Last year I had Cincinnati +4. Sometimes I like the side. This year I just had nothing I liked about it whatsoever. I just think every game's different, and sometimes you like the side, sometimes you like the total, sometimes you like both, sometimes you like neither. I just hated the side this year.
All right.
That's, I mean,
Big Al hates the side. The jury is smoking.
I mean, I gave out one of the two sides on our show, but yeah, I mean, it was just going to be a free play. It was not going to be a premium play.
No, you're not going to love every game. It's kind of it's kind of almost like Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, where you feel compelled that you have to give a pick, even if
I never feel compelled to have to give a pick.
No,
I give out probably about 4 or 5 Monday night games a year. I don't pick everyone. I
do. Oh, I try to. I didn't do it this year, but generally I have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, if I like a play, I give it out. I mean, I'm like Ron. I'll be giving out, Grambling and stuff like that. So, I don't force Monday night games and Thursday night games and Sunday night games or Super Bowl. Sometimes I even pass the Super Bowl, but it's been a while. So.
All right. Well, good luck on today's card, and
good luck to you too, Mitch.
Keep the heat going, and of course, we've been featuring Al a lot in the newsletter. If you haven't signed up, you're missing out. Following along, kind of documenting his streak in there, because really one of the best runs I've ever seen.
Thank you.
So. It's not easy. I get tons of emails from people that say they go 85%, but I tell you what, we put them on the site and they never see, or we document their picks. They never seem to do it, So, all right, Al, we'll see you. Get some sleep
tomorrow. Yep. I'll talk to you on Sunday.
That was Big Al McMorty on the heater of the century. Man, what a run. I know he had a slow January and he just came out in February and started taking names. So just goes to show you, guys will play to the back of their baseball card most of the time. Speaking of baseball cards, Ron Romanelli here with us. He's about a month and a half away. March 30th will be the first Ron's rundown of the year, unless he's going to do some spring training for himself as far as rundowns go. But I'm sure a lot of people are like, yeah, you should do it's like you should do a spring training totals and first 5 inning rundowns.
Yeah. Here's a spoiler. That ain't happening.
It's like, yeah. So you busted up some parlays last night. What I read in the YouTube comments, would you go 4-1 or something? It's
3-1. Yeah.
Yeah. Busted up some parlays with that.
Worst pick I've ever given out.
Terrible. I shouldn't have listened to you.
I know. No, but we've done well with the video picks and the premium plays in college hoops lately. 8-1 the last 2 on the bank shot breakdown. We're doing well in college hoops. So big Saturday card. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the odd thing is like, so Ron and I do our videos absolutely independently. And the same with Chris and myself, and with Chris and Ron. We don't discuss picks. We really don't discuss anything. It's not at any point, not even like the next day or really never. And people will say in the comments, they think that it's either a competition or it's a there's some sort of collaboration. Well, Ron said this and you say, it's like, yeah, because we didn't even talk to each other. I didn't even know what games he was doing. It's like, and most of the time I don't know unless I read it in the newsletter. They list the games out there. So that's really the only time that I know. But it's not a competition between Ron and myself. And believe me, when I'm giving out free picks like that, if Ron can talk me off a loser, I'll take it, any day of the week. And I know there's certain conferences and certain teams and certain games that he knows better than I do, a lot better. And, the Texas Southerns of the world and teams like that, the WAC teams, he is really, he can get you on. I always believe that in sports betting, that part of it is getting on the run early and getting off in time, and it's like, you got to be 2 games ahead, and you might miss that first one. And I've seen it in your picks, and it's like, because I see everybody's picks. So it's like, I know, like, there was a game where you had Oregon, you were just a game early, and then you went back to Oregon again, and then they clubbed Arizona, the next time out. So you were there. You're just too early. You were just ahead of yourself.
I'm not afraid to get my butt whooped again if I have to, but
I'd rather not.
No, yeah, of course. But if there's a team and a side that, I think is undervalued or overvalued, there's teams that I keep fading that sometimes beat me. Pittsburgh's been one of those teams where I still think they're a little bit overrated, and I faded them quite a bit this year and have not done too well doing so. But there's all the other teams like Oregon that's been nice to me for the most part. We took them against USC, so yeah, it's college hoops is my favorite sport to bet on for good reason.
Yep. So to get the newsletter, you just go either to PickDogs or sportschatplace.com, and there's a newsletter sign up box at the top or the side or the bottom. You could find it pretty easily on the website. It's there. But anyways, like I always say, man, I'm not in a competition with the Cappers here. I'm just on a really good team, So it's like
Mitch and I are each other's biggest fans.
Yeah, it's like I'm excited for Ron's on a nice run, Big Al's on a nice run, and like I say, it's like I might have been a little better in January. They're better now. It's great, man. I enjoy it. I've never been on a team this good. I'm normally I've been on some bad teams throughout my career. So you guys remember pre 2018. So. 2018 and before. So you guys know I've been in some pretty lousy teams with some pretty lousy players. But anyways, Ron, what do you got for everyone today?
Well, we're going to talk about some SWAC basketball. That's what I like to talk about. So Jackson State and Florida A&M. I like Jackson State. I think they have two really big advantages in this game. And, the first one is offensive rebounding. Jackson State, good front court. They get a lot of second chance looks, 55th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. And Florida A&M is the 7th worst team in defensive rebounding in the nation. We saw against Prairie View A&M, it was an ugly game for Florida A&M. They gave up 10 offensive rebounds, but they could not defend the perimeter. They, 9 of 18 Prairie View was from 50%. They couldn't defend the paint. Prairie View was 19 of 30 from 2-point range, 63%. So I think Jackson State, a team that's not really great offensively, is going to be able to score some points in this game because of all those offensive rebounds that they should get. Another thing is the defense. Florida A&M is the 2nd worst team in college hoops in turnover percentage on offense. They lose the ball left and right. And Jackson State's defense pretty aggressive this season. They force a lot of turnovers, and they're going to be able to force plenty in this game, 15 plus in this one, to be able to score even more points on the fast break. So I like Jackson State. We're getting a pretty good price here with Jackson State. So give me the Tigers laying the points.
Yeah, there are some years where Florida A&M has some pretty good teams and some pretty good athletes. This is not one of those years. Yeah. It's like they're pretty much straight ass. Jackson State, certainly not world beaters. I do like that the SWAC played a lot of big games this year at a conference, kind of taking that Long Beach State model. But actually, I think Jackson State took it to a whole new level. Didn't they play at Indiana and Michigan, and they played some of these other schools?
At TCU, they played at Alabama, at Stephen F. Austin, a neutral site against Texas Tech, and against Mississippi State, and at Akron, which is another tough place to play.
Yeah, so some of these records they're bad, but it's like some of them are even overstated because you could put Auburn into that up against that schedule right there, and they're lucky to go 500.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Florida. Really, it's the whole SWAC conference that played these tough games because Florida A&M, they played at Oregon, at Miami, at Florida, at Georgia, at Purdue, at Kentucky. So, they were number one in non-conference strength of schedule, but it really helps you in conference play. It really prepares you. Most of the teams in the SWAC did so, and the teams that didn't, they're struggling a little bit in conference play. So I give credit to both the programs for doing that.
I wonder how much they're getting paid to play those games. Like at Oregon is really a road trip for a team like Florida A&M.
Yeah,
that is a long.
They went to Portland too. Florida A&M. That was a tough one. That was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was. Those are long trips. Do you have another pick for us?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Pac-12 game, UCLA and Oregon. And I think UCLA is the better team, and if these teams played at a neutral site, most times UCLA would win the game. But in college hoops and really in all sports betting, the better team doesn't always win, and they don't always cover. And to me, this is just a really tough spot for UCLA. Oregon, very tough to beat when they're playing on their home court. They've won their last 2 games, including a nice blowout win over USC last time out. That was at home, 78-60. They basically took a double-digit lead and never looked back the entire way. And, UCLA is – I just don't – this is a team I still think is going to be a number 1 seed when we get to the NCAA tournament, and they've got one of the more experienced backcourts and a talented backcourts in college hoops. But on the road, we've seen them struggle at times in conference play. We saw them lose to USC by double digits. We saw them only score 52 points in a loss to Arizona at Arizona. So I just can't trust the Bruins in this game. We're getting a couple points with Oregon at home. I think they win this one. I think it's a big resume boosting win that pretty much solidifies that Oregon's going to make the tournament this year. So give me the Ducks. I'll take the 2.5. And if you're getting some plus money on the money line, not a bad idea as well.
I looked at this one because we did the Ruffolo and I, we just do a random draw of the games. And I looked back at Oregon, at their schedule and, to take a look at how some of these losses happen. And you want to talk about, Florida A&M's out of conference schedule. Houston, UConn, at Michigan State, UConn. These are neutral siters. Villanova. Then they came back, played Washington State and UCLA for their in-conference, that mini in-conference.
Yeah.
And they played Nevada. I mean, these guys have played a very tough schedule. And then even in the WAC, they played Utah Valley, who's one of the better teams there. They lost that game, which might hurt them, on Selection Sunday. But I don't think it hurts them that bad, especially if they could get a win here against UCLA. This could be the game that puts them in because they do have that pound down of Arizona also on the schedule.
Yeah. The big thing is they don't have a lot of road wins, but I don't think you need them if you can pick up these types of games like the Arizona win and the UCLA win if they can get it tonight.
Yeah, this is, this Oregon team, they've always had a lot of talent. Last year I thought they were the winners of the transfer portal, but they just never gelled as a team. Yeah. And I think, it's been a matter of that. And it was after one of the games they're like, we finally feel like we're a team, and then they go out the next game and got slaughtered. But here they've won 4 of their last 5 or something. So maybe they really are coming together. I like it. What do you got for sale at Pick Dogs today?
Yeah, we got 6 college basketball plays all together. Got my Bank Shot Best Bet. We're on a 21-8 run in that. And then we've got a 3-pack with 3 of my favorite plays on the board. Long-term plan, get you all of them. And my Super Bowl pick as well is up for sale. So looking for a big Saturday. I think last Saturday we went 3-1, but overall I think we're 14-3 or 13-4 in the last week in college basketball. So doing really good work. Hopefully keep rolling.
Well, Ron, thanks for joining us. Of course, stay tuned every day for the Bank Shot Breakdown. And we're about a month and 18 days away. So 49 days. Well, it's the 30th. So 47 days away from kickoff of the baseball season, that opening pitch, and Ron's rundown. That one's easy. The Bank Shot Breakdown I've struggled with a little bit, but the rundown, that one's easy and just happens. It's the original, sometimes the original. I remember when Jay started his, I'm like, Jay, what'd you call it? He's like, well, I also called it the rundown. I'm like, you can't do that.
Jay's rundown.
I'm like, we're going with jam session. He's like, I kind of like it. All right, Ron, thanks.
All righty, guys. Good luck.
That was Ron Romanelli. Like I said, the Bank Shot Breakdown has been straight fire. He missed one yesterday. You would have thought that he's lost 35 games in a row. He got YouTube commented like the way that I get YouTube comments for his one loss, but he had 3 winners to go with it. Of course, 75% winning percentage. It's I guess it's not good enough for some people, but for me, trust me, I make a living off of less than that. But anyways, got up next, Chris Ruffolo. Of course, you can see Chris in the morning show with me every single day. Usually he's a good sport about the jokes and has no problem talking bad about other people. Chris, what's happening?
I am not on your level of name caller yet. I hope to be that level when I grow up, but I think I'm getting there. I'm starting to see some of my own comments this morning, and yeah, it's kind of what I live for.
There was a great comment for you on YouTube. I deleted it without doing it, but it was a really, really good one.
Oh,
it was one of those ones you don't. It was the you never win type comment.
Yeah. I had someone with a bunch of spelling mistakes. I'm going to send them a dictionary for Christmas. It's going to be my charitable donation for the year. It's probably going to be a tax write off for the company. So that's probably going to be what I'm focused on.
Nice. So, what's the NHL schedule looking like here heading into Super Bowl Sunday? Are they playing tomorrow?
There's 4 games tomorrow. Yeah, they're doing the bulk of the heavy lifting today. A 14-game schedule in the NHL
Wow.
today. So,
A-
yeah.
And then, so tomorrow they're early games or after the Super Bowl, or
I believe, yeah, I think I was actually, funny enough, I was just looking at the schedule because we have some recording to do after this, and yeah, it looks like they're 12:30, 1:30, and 3. So,
oh, they're going up against that Cleveland State Youngstown State game in the horizon. Also against that Greensboro Wofford game at 3.
yeah, they're not trying to make friends.
Yeah. I like Greensboro in that one against Wofford. I'll give out the money line. They could put me on a couple other websites out there that would allow it. Minus 600. I'm on a winning streak.
It's great value here.
So good. 5%. Bet 5% of your bankroll to win 0.0002%. It's like, it's social network, the stock dilution.
Bet 100 to win $14.
Yeah, pretty much. Plus pay for it. Plus the cost of the picks.
So the profit doesn't even cover the cost of the pick.
No, good strategy. Well, anyways, what do you got for everyone today as far as a pick?
Well, I can tell you I don't have a minus 600 for that, but the first play I do have 2 today. I'm going to go with the first play. I'm going to go with Virginia laying the points against Duke. We saw Duke get their teeth absolutely kicked in against Miami, but it's not the first time that we've seen this Duke team, get their butts whooped on the road. I mean, just look at, inside their last 10 games, they're 2-4 in their last 6 road games, and 1-5 against the spread in that 6-game stretch. 8-point loss to Clemson, as well as a 24-point loss at NC State mixed in there as well. It just looks like a true transition year. It just looks like John Shire hasn't been able to reach the guys yet. Again, it's his first year in charge, but I can tell you the Duke boosters don't care if it's your first year in charge. They expect you to be just as good as the last guy. Unfortunately, the last guy is going to had one of the best careers of any college coach that you'll ever see. But I don't know, it still just feels like a very young team. It's just almost like a perfect storm of just nothing's really been able to click for the Duke Blue Devils. And now they got to try to bounce back. I know they want to get the taste out of their mouths from that Miami loss, but got to go on the road to get it done against a Virginia team that still plays rock solid defense, is going to make life uncomfortable for the Dukies. Yeah, no thanks. I think it's close early on, but over the course of the second half, you see Virginia really start to pull away and get themselves a winning cover here and add to Duke's misery on the road.
I think Shire's done a pretty decent job at Duke. It's not easy being the next guy up, following a legend, that's for sure. But, he's got really not the star power that Duke has had in the past. He's got Flipowski and Roach, but, he doesn't really have like Kyrie Irving and Elton Brand or something. It's like, he doesn't have those guys, or Banchero. He doesn't have those. If Banchero would have stayed, imagine what, then it would have been like no problem, right? It's like, but he didn't, and they don't stay anymore. And I think with Coach K, you have a better chance of going out and getting those guys than with Shire. I think, it's they're, what I fear for Duke is that they're going to run into the same issues that Stanford has, where you have this really, really good school, that has a great program. But the issue is that the players that you're trying to recruit have no interest in earning a 4-year degree. So they don't get the benefit of Duke, which is the hardest school to get into in the United States as far as admissions. It's tougher than any of the Ivies. And, attracting the type of players that it takes to win, not so easy without Coach K there. So, I could see it in Virginia. I don't know. This guy, it's like, it always seems like it's almost like the other team is like in a box, right? And they just can't get out of it. It's like it closes in, it's tighter and tighter and tighter. And then they're shooting from the logo, It's like that's what really starts to happen there. So I could see that one. What else you got for us?
The other one, I'm going to go to a late night matchup. We're going to look at BYU Gonzaga, and I am on the over like white on rice in this game. I just think that this is going to be a high scoring game. I don't know how much I trust Gonzaga to cover this number, even though they're at home, and that has been where the Zags have done their best work this season. You know, they are scoring 93.4 points per game at home, and you just look at some of the performances at home that they've had. They put up 99 against San Francisco, 88 against Santa Clara, 115 against Portland. And I'm not saying to get 115 here against BYU, but even if you get Gonzaga scoring into the mid 80s here, which is definitely a possibility, it doesn't leave a whole lot of work for BYU to have to do to get us up and over this total around in the mid 150s. Now, granted, these you've seen inflated totals in the past, sort of in the same range between BYU and Gonzaga, but we've seen 75-74 earlier this season. We've seen BYU put up 84, 78, 71, 78 in a lot of these recent meetings. So I think we're headed for a game in the 160s at the very least. I think it's going to be an absolute entertaining track meet, offensive clinic. I look for this one to go over the total.
Earlier this season, we saw a lot lower scoring games out of BYU, but as of late, they really have gone back to kind of that old BYU style. 89 against Loyola Marymount, 81 against Pacific, 80 against Pepperdine, 74 against San Francisco, 76 against Santa Clara. So, I mean, they have some big numbers, and 75-74 in the last meeting with Gonzaga. So I could definitely see it. Gonzaga, clearly not the same Gonzaga that we've seen in the past, but I think other teams would wish to not be the same Gonzaga and be the team that this year's Zags are. You look at the losses that the Zags have had, the 5 losses at Texas, a horrible spot. I think the Loyola Marymount at home is probably one of the worst Zag losses that we've seen in recent years. And it really wasn't that horrible of a loss. I mean, you lose a conference game like that at home by a point. Those happen to everybody. It just happens. And, losing at St. Mary's in overtime, I felt that was a game that they let get away from them. I liked St. Mary's in that game heading in, but I thought that Gonzaga outplayed them for the better part of the game, and that St. Mary's came on late. They let the crowd into it, and that was, once the crowd gets into it like that, and you got the comeback going, gets a little tough out there. That's what we saw there. But this should be a good one. These teams always play each other tough.
Yeah, like you said, once the freshman, I think it was a freshman point guard for St. Mary's, started shooting from the logo, started driving and hitting the reverse layups. You start seeing the whole crowd go nuts. Yeah, you kind of knew it was curtains for Gonzaga at that point.
No one wants to play St. Mary's this year in the NCAA tournament, that's for sure. And I think if we can get Virginia against St. Mary's, I think we might get a total less than 80 for that thing. We can get that matchup going. What are you selling today at Pick Dogs?
Well, I got a few things going on. I still got my $15 college hoops slam dunk. Got an NHL power play up for $25. Got a number of 3-packs for college hoops and NBA as well. And this is the time to hop on long term because you get all those plays today. I think the 7 day is actually cheaper than getting each of the packages individually. Gets you a bunch more plays throughout the weekend. It gets you the Super Bowl play for tomorrow. So definitely best values going long term.
So how many total premiums do you have for the long term subscribers?
I think today I've got 14 for
14
for long term subscribers. Yeah, bulk of them are
college hoops. How about a free one for everyone?
All right, free one. Let me pull up my list real quick. Caught me off guard, but it's okay. Yeah, let me just get it.
What the hell? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I ask every day, and you always say no. But
I have no problem doing it. No problem at all. Let's see here. You know what? Let's go. Let's just go with the biggest one I have on the board. I'm taking the Canes against Louisville.
Louisville's terrible.
I could see that one being over by halftime. Over their last few home games, putting up like 81 against Duke. I've seen 88, 84 for Miami at home. Those are numbers that Louisville wishes they could put up in their sleep. And unfortunately, I said before, for Louisville, you cut the head off the snake, you'd stop L. Ellis from scoring. This Louisville team could probably only put up 40 points. So I look for Miami to win by 30 plus.
Yeah, Miami teams of the past were unable to cover big spreads and, struggled to cover spreads at all. This Miami team, a little bit different. This team really has the killer instinct, and we saw it against Duke where they just opened the top on them. And you haven't seen that out of too many Miami teams, not even last year's team that, the Elite Eight team that they had a year ago. But all right, Chris, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the freemium, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you guys tomorrow.
That's Chris Ruffolo. Of course, you see him every day here with me. Usually are saying a lot of inappropriate stuff, but we kept it, I thought, pretty clean there today. Anyways, bring in Wayne. Wayne, what's happening?
What's going on, Mitch?
Nothing. I've been getting some emails from people recently and messages on Twitter about people that want to be a capper on the site. I told them, well, if you wanted to be a capper and you so much loved our brand as much as you're saying that you do, then you would have entered the contest. So either you weren't in touch with our brand to enter the contest, or you didn't enter because you would have got your ass kicked by Wayne. So either way, it's like, and then I'm the bad guy, right? Because it's like I got it, because I always take it one step further, Like,
nah.
I see now you're settling in. You've been with us for about a little over a month now. You're getting into that veteran. You're probably not going to be the new guy for that much longer. You're still the new guy. It's kind of like what I used to say to Jay Briggs all the time. I'm like, you're not going to be the new guy forever. But now you're starting to settle in. It's like a little bit more. I think what happens is when you first start, you're kind of just like, you feel like a little bit of pressure to perform right out of the gate. So you do some things and you don't make some picks, and you make some picks that you might not normally do. And now it's like you're kind of settling in, and it's like, this is my game. And it's like, you're comfortable to just be yourself again, give your picks, and sure enough, you're winning. And it happens to almost everybody when they start at the site.
Yeah, Mitch, you pretty much called that right on the head. So I'm just not getting in my groove and it's feeling good now. So that's what it's about, man. Just getting back to confidence, getting back in the role and the gist of everything. And yeah.
I think with you, like what I could see from where I am was more like you felt pigeonholed, like you had to be good at this conference or you had to be good at this, as opposed to saying, I got 200 games out here. These are the ones that I just jump off the page and I really like. These are the ones I'm betting today. Instead of saying, well, this is in the SWAC and this is in the SoCon and this is, in this. And it's like, and all of a sudden, you go from, winning a couple of games a day to going, hitting 70, 80% of your games. So, I mean, I always have faith in you. I think people when they're new, they kind of will beat themselves up a little bit. At first, because most people start slow because of that for those exact reasons. They feel that this pressure that they have to be this other person than the person that got them here in the first place.
Yeah. Exactly. That definitely can happen. But I'm reading the board and I'm seeing everything great. And hey man, I'm getting back rolling. That's what it's about, man. I really do this. I do this for a living, man, and I'm just here to show that. So right when I get off of here, I'm going to the casino. So I got a couple online bets, but I love to go to the casino. I'm at Two Kings Casino. So done studied up, got all my notes. I got my premiums in. I wanted to add one more. Probably just give it out on here. But yeah, man, I'm getting back into the groove of things, and it's feeling good. So that's what it's all about for me.
All right. Well, what do you got for everybody today to get things started?
All right. First matchup, we're gonna go to this ACC matchup between Boston College and NC State. It's a 12 o'clock start time, so you guys might want to make sure you hop up on this early. Boston College is 12-13 right now. NC State is 19-6 right now, 5th in the conference. NC State is 9-5 in conference, while Boston College is 6-8 in conference. Last time we seen Boston College out, they got a good road win against Virginia Tech, 82-76. Boston College, not to slight them, because they're doing pretty good in ATS, and I actually like the way they battling and sticking in the games. But the last time they was at home, they lost to Syracuse 77-68. the 11-14 ATS, so they a little below the winning record on the ATS at 11-14. This NC State team, they're a little hard to read, but they're battle tested, man. They lost on the road to Virginia. I mean, it's Virginia, but they lost 63-50. They battled back and forth in that game. They beat Wake Forest at home 79-77. That's a great win for them. This NC State team, they're just a better team to me all around. I love their guard play. They're a better rebounding team. They're better in everything they do. They got a great bench. They got 4 players averaging over 10 points, and I look for them to it was -5 last time I checked, and now it's -6. And I understand the line movement, man. This NC State team, they got a lot to prove, and I think they come out here and smash up Boston College on their home court. I won't be surprised if it's a little tight in the first half, but NC State definitely the way better three-pointer team and better three-point defense team. This Boston College team is shooting the three horrible, so that's one of the main things I'm looking at to get this 5 point stretched out to the 7-8 mark later in the game, and for them to get a pretty easy cover here.
Yeah, the thing, that I'm always a little nervous with Boston College. I like NC State. I like that they always, when they get to the tournaments and stuff, they're always very, very dangerous, and they're always super athletic. But the thing about this one is that Boston College, we saw them last year in that ACC tournament take out Duke and North Carolina. Or no, that was Virginia Tech. But they played really, really tough in the ACC tournament last year. And then they lost to Miami, I believe, in double overtime is eventually where they went out. And, boy, when they get hot, they're hot,
I agree with you, Mitch. I definitely it's not like no disrespect to Boston College. I like the way they're playing. They keep games tough. They have a tough team. But I think against this NC State team, against when they play the lower teams, they actually tend to beat up on them pretty good. And I think this is one of them teams where they understand what Boston College is capable of, and they don't let them keep it close. They go ahead and get the stretch out. They got the way better players. They're playing better in all the stronger areas that I like to take a road team at this position. So I'm loving NC State here, but that's no slight to Boston College. They're a tough team, and they're getting things together. Definitely as of recently, playing tough.
Well, for your second pick, we've got you go to the NBA.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to the game between the Bulls and the Cavs. I'm going to be straightforward, guys. I was on the Bulls the other night against the Nets, and I watched that whole game, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing from this Bulls team right now, besides the fact that they're 1-4 on the road in the last 5 games, ATS. They look like they should have made a trade during the trade deadline, man. Outside of their key players, their benches are not providing much help. They're just not doing a lot of things well. Their star players not playing good, and DeRozan, he kind of looked like a shell of himself. And I know the Cavs are on a back-to-back, but they're at home where they play their best basketball. They're 4-1 at home. They're playing a real good ball these last couple games, and I like for them to cover that 5 pretty easy here.
Yeah, the Bulls are an odd team, because it's like they kind of built to play this year, but what they have isn't getting it done. So there was talks earlier this season about breaking down the entire thing and starting over again. Obviously, they don't have a first-round draft choice this year, so they didn't have that to work with. But they had all these players. They could have easily broken this down, and they probably just didn't like what they were hearing about what they were going to get back for. They have really a few players there that they could trade and could be nice pieces on other teams that you would think that they would want. Not having a draft choice this year obviously doesn't mean much as long as you got, 6 seconds in the next 20 years. It works these days. It's the new currency in the NBA. How many second round picks can you trade in the thing? Because all your firsts have been traded already. Everybody owes a first. It's a protected first. It's a non-protected first. I don't know how you stop that, but I guess the Nets have, 37 draft choices with 12 roster slots coming up. So let's see what happens with them. It'll be interesting. I like what the Cavs are doing. It's just going to be interesting to see if this is their year or if they're a couple years away. I like teams that have the 3 big players, and you can kind of see that with Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley, right? So it's like they kind of have those young three guys that if they can keep those three together and put some pieces in around them, man, they're gonna be a handful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of agree with you. I'm not sure what's the reason or why these Bulls didn't make no moves. I don't know. Like you said, it might be it because maybe Zach LaVine and maybe some of the pieces they were thinking about trading may not hold as much value, or they might not. It's probably just better to keep them there and then maybe see what next year. But they got a couple games to start getting it right. Or they might be out at least in the play-ins, definitely out of the playoffs. They're on the outside looking in. They're going to have to start winning with the guys that they have. They didn't make no moves, so I'm not sure if they believe in them or just couldn't get the value for the guys that they needed. But they're right on that edge, and with the way they played last game against the Nets, I'm definitely not a believer in them right now.
Well, what do you got today going on at Pick Dogs?
Right now, I got a 3-pack, cash-a-thon 3-pack. Got an early game 3-pack in college basketball. I got my best bet in college basketball that I love today. And I got one more 3-pack with my best pick in NHL, my best pick in the NBA, and college basketball slid with those.
All right. Well, you got a loaded card today, and of course tomorrow, the Super Bowl. I know you got your eye on that Greensboro-Wofford game. So see where you are with that one tomorrow. But I'm looking at that. I was looking at that one. I think it's going to be 10. Is the number I'm looking at for that one. I think I still like Greensboro.
Yeah, they been playing. I'm like,
it's like to me, it's Greensboro or Furman, right? It's one of those two is going to come out of that conference. They split their games this season. I think Greensboro to me is kind of a surprise because I thought that they were pulling back because, they lost Wes Miller and, to Cincinnati. And then I just thought that this was a program probably going the other direction, but screw me, man. They're barreling right ahead, 17-9. It's like Spartans they're cashing too. They're cashing the whole way.
Say they covering, so yeah,
they're covering, man.
Not just winning, they're covering. Yeah.
They're covering, man. I like them. I'm rooting for them.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man, y'all pair me up with one of these handicappers, man. Check out my long-term package. If not, man, get you a 3-pack. I've been going 3-0 and 2-1 in my 3-packs the past 3 to 4 days. I've been rolling, seeing this board good. So cash in with me, guys.
How do we get your picks? Someone's asking. It's like you just go to pickdogs.com and click on the premium picks. I'll put it on I'll put it in the comments right there myself. But anyways, all right, Wayne, thanks. And we'll probably see you tomorrow.
All right, take care, Mitch. You have a good one, man. Good luck today, everybody. Pick Dog family. Peace.
Wayne Scott, winner of our this year's Become a Capper contest, solo winner. We only had one hire from the Become a Capper contest. First time in a long time that we did that. But hey, I'll take one Wayne versus 10 other guys any day of the week. We've got Jovan up next. He's a former Become a Capper contest, did not win, but basically was right there the whole way. And that was a long time ago. He's not the new guy anymore. It's been a few years now. I know he remembers what it's like to be the new guy. It's not, some days are a little easier than others, and I think that the new guy is always a little harder on themselves than any of us are on them, because we've all been the new guy before.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you have that new guy day. It's like, oh no. It's like everyone thinks they suck. It's like, we know you don't suck.
I'm pretty much even kill. And when I started, I kind of hit the ground running. So
yeah, well, you're one of the few. I mean, most of the guys, they come in, they like forget what got them there. But you have been on the leaderboard pretty much since day one. Got a good schedule today. Wayne dissing on your Boston College guys. I know generally a team that you like, but got a few other games here. What do you got for us in the first game?
We're going to go to the NBA, the Miami Heat Orlando Magic game. And, it looks like the Orlando Magic, they've been turned the corner or turning the corner. They're a young team, usually perennial losers, but, they've won 3 out of their last 4 games. They took the Denver Nuggets to the woodshed, and I think it might happen in this game as well. They've covered the last 3 games against the Heat. And with the Heat coming off, a game last night during the second night of a back-to-back, it just lines up for the Orlando Magic to get the job done in this one. It's a real short line, so I just like and I also like the talent, on the Magic and how they match up with the Heat. The Heat has a few older guys, some guys that may be injured, or may be hurt. It's the middle of the season. It's about to be the All-Star break. They might mail it in this one. Especially just mustering a 2-point win against Houston last night. So, it might be a couple guys sitting out. Who knows? But I think when all said and done, the Magic get the job done in this one.
I think the Heat got pretty lucky last night against the Rockets in that game. That game was kind of back and forth, and I was feeling pretty good with my 10.5 and the Rockets. I didn't give it out as a premium pick, but I did give it out over on Instagram as my dog of the day. I just thought that was just the Heat aren't a 10-point win team this season, and these are the games that it just seems that they haven't been stringing wins together. They haven't been covering a lot of games. They haven't done a lot great, but maybe they're back end loaded. They still have plenty of talent. They still have a winning record, even though it doesn't feel like it because they don't really have one against the spread. But I think the Magic, for a team that's 10 games under or 9 games under, they feel like a team that's 10 over. Just the way that they've played, and especially in the underdog role, they really they love being the dog.
Yeah. I mean, the Boston Celtics know about that. They've lost their last 3 games to the Magic. So this team, they have some talent. That's for damn sure. And they're long. So Ben Banchero, he's going to be a perennial All-Star soon enough. And the other piece that they have, I like Franz Wagner, the younger brother, not Mo Wagner. But yeah, I like a couple of their pieces. If they could just, get it together, they're gonna be a dangerous team for years to come.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be tough. They're headed in the right direction. I know they're rooting for Wayne's pick of the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight because they got the Bulls' first-round pick this year and what looks to be a pretty good draft. So, what else you got for us today?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the Big East, noon start, and we're gonna take a look at my Providence Friars, and dare I say I'm fading them. I'm going with the Johnnies.
This has not been a good strategy for you on this show. This is not one that's worked out for you. It's
I know, but I gotta take a shot. The Johnnies, they are, or the Red Storm, however you want to call them. They haven't been faring well against the spread. I know it's a nasty pick. It's an ugly pick, but it's a pick that I'm gonna back nevertheless. Against the spread, they're 0-6. It's just not a good look. But they did play good against Providence in their last game, 83-80. And the last game they lost by 2 to Butler. It's really not much to be said about why should back St. John's. They are a talented bunch. They just haven't been able to put it together, But I just think of matchup wise, I think they could do some things against Providence. They kind of, as far as like their guard play, they're kind of similar. They have similar guys. If you ever watch these two teams, it's just that St. John's, this seems like they're in disarray. They're usually a better team than this, and I think today they get up for playing the Friars, and I think they keep this within the spread.
Anderson has had some big jobs.
Yeah,
he has really had some of the
Arkansas, Missouri.
Yeah, I mean he's had some great jobs. He never seems to be able to get the team over the top, but I don't know, boy. It just seems if St. John's could have a good team, they would go crazy for it in New York. They'd go nuts. It's a basketball town.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what a player in particular, Cabello, who used to play for Illinois. I don't know what's going on with him. He was a fire starter for Illinois when he played there. He gets here, and this is one situation after the other, either off court or on court. I don't know, but I think in this one, at least for this game, I think they put it together at least make it competitive.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason he's not at Illinois anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know the circumstances behind it. I know he's a New York City, a tri-state area.
They were excited to get him. They were excited to get him for sure.
Yeah, so I thought it had more to do with that than anything else, but maybe not.
Well, what do you got for sale today at Pick Dogs?
Right now I just have a 5-pack of some of the early games. I'm gonna have another 5-pack, 3-pack, or whatever, for the later portions, later games going up. I'll have 12 college basketball plays and a couple NBA plays when it's all said and done. So,
all right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see how this anti-Ed Cooley pick works out for you. This time, I think it's really the only thing you have that really has a negative record with us.
Hey, listen,
it's like you always come on. You're like, I knew I shouldn't have gone Ed
right.
Cooley. It's like,
yeah, man, going up again. But
I moved my Ed Cooley to the wall right here. I moved him. He's got a good spot.
Where at? Okay, I see it.
He's watching over, man.
Hey, but with the teams that I root for, Boston teams and New England area teams like Providence, I'm willing to fade them if it calls for it, So,
for me, it's either no play or Ed Cooley.
I'm not, I'm not that much of a homer, to not go against my teams. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
I understand.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.
All right, that's Jovan Burts, always on top of the leaderboard. So, anyways, we got next up is Ninos. Al, what's happening?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing, Mitch?
Doing good. I know you've recorded your video. I haven't had a chance to post it yet. Probably will post after the show. But I know you and Wayne did your prop parlay. New feature. And another one of those things that's kind of, wade through it. It will find its way. It always does. And it's just, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But what do you got cooking for today here?
Going to look at some NBA play that almost made the premium, but not quite. Mostly because I'm there on the back-to-back. I'm looking at the Pacers here. They'll be in Washington after losing 117 and 104 to the Suns last night. As I said, playing their second game in 2 nights, but they got to rest their starters after going down big early. So none of them played over, no starters played over 26 minutes last night. So they shouldn't be too gassed for this one. Should still have plenty left there in the tank for this one. Indiana's also 6-5 against the spread as when they're coming off no rest. The Wizards just 5-10 against the spread with a rest advantage. Also just 5-8-1 against the spread as home favorites on the season. Still no Kuzma in the lineup. So I think it's a tough matchup on the back-to-back here, but I think they could keep it competitive here. The Wizards been playing real well too, but dealing with some injuries in and out, some guys in and out of the lineup, and I think the Pacers managed to keep it close here.
All right. I don't know. The Pacers have been, Halliburton just has been kind of really inconsistent here. The Halliburton prop, the under 18.5 points has been straight money. 9 out of 10, right? 90% are here on this one. I know you're following along with me on that thing. We've been cashing on it on my TikTok props, like no one's business on the under for Halliburton points. The Wizards just can't find any kind of consistency. This was the matchup where I kind of really got off the Pacers or the Wizards earlier this season, and it was with Porzingis when they were just flat as a pancake. And it was God, the guy from Oregon that they have on the Pacers. It was just lighting them up. I mean, just killing them. Chris Duarte, and But I don't know. The Pacers team, they just seem to be a couple cards short of a deck. And the Wizards, I don't know. They're kind of just going through the motions too. So kind of a tougher one for me. Do you have another pick for us as well, or just going one?
We could look at some NHL as well. But real quick, what you had said something I wanted to touch on, but now it's slipped. Yeah, Halliburton. That almost made my prop for the show today, but yeah, definitely been a good one. And again, on the back-to-back here, if they go down big early, they could sit him down early. So definitely not a bad night to take a shot on that prop. Although I do still like them to keep it close. And he can still go under if they keep it close. You know, he's been going under either way. So. In the NHL, I kind of like the Bruins here. They've been great all season. They've been the much better team this season. They've been great at home. A little bit pricey, but it's been a while since we've given a -1, Mitch. So how do you feel about the Bruins on the -1 today?
Bruins on the -1. Hockey, not my thing, but you know, it's
is 22, 1-3 at home your thing?
Let me take a look at this one real fast. Of course, I have no idea who they're even playing. So
the Capitals.
Oh, Capitals. So it's the Bruins 15, 11, 16, 12. I don't love this game.
Should be a good one, but I think again that home ice definitely comes into play here, and so I think they're a better team either way. So a lot of talent on that roster. Not that the Capitals don't. It's just I just think the Bruins are better.
Yeah, I don't love this one. I think there are other games that I like more. It's 15-11 on the puck line at home. The Capitals are a good road puck line team. Plus, they're the one getting the goal and a half here. So I don't know. I'd probably stay away. But you know, I know nothing about hockey. But what do you got for sale at Pick Dogs?
Got a 3-pack in the NBA, 3-pack in the NHL, and my best bet in each sport sold separate as well. Some extra plays, one extra play in the NHL and a couple extra plays in the NBA as well for everyone on the long-term passes. So make sure you grab one of those or the 2-for-1 capper specials.
All right, Al. Well, thanks for joining us. And, of course, you can check out Al and Wayne every day on their prop parlay. All right. One more to go. Jay Briggs. Last but not least, Jay, what's happening?
What's happening?
Tomorrow, it'll be you, me, and Rihanna halftime Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
The whole year of these are teams that we've loved and hated all season long. A lot of players we know that the guys. We know how they do in the second half. We know in their situations. We've seen them every which way this year. So it should be a good game, but of course it's just one game too.
Yes, sir. We got a really good one. Should be a good one. I can't wait for it tomorrow. Like you said, you were talking with Big Al earlier. Lighter schedule tomorrow, actually. Lighter NBA card for me tomorrow as well. So I'm going to enjoy it. Going to enjoy the Super Bowl. And but today, we got a lot of action today. So I'm ready to smash today.
All right. Well, what do you got going on today? I know I posted your jam session. So
yes, sir. We're up and running with that. I was just coming to really clean up what we haven't talked about in the NBA. Nobody talked about that Nuggets game, so I'll go there. I think the Nuggets beat up on the Hornets here today. Hornets on the back-to-back. It's just not a great spot to be trying to take the Hornets. I know the Nuggets are not the same juggernaut out on the road, and they did lose their last one out on the road to the Orlando Magic. But I think they bounced back, man. This is still one of the best teams in the West, and if not the best team in the West, man, and I definitely think they bounced back today on the road. So I would go ahead and lay that 8.5, me personally, with the Denver Nuggets on the Charlotte Hornets, one of the worst teams in all of the NBA.
Yeah, the Hornets have been terrible this season, and it's like it's hard to even explain because they have some good talent on this team, and you would expect for them to be better than they have been. You know, the Nuggets, despite Michael Porter Jr. playing some quality minutes, they still continue to roll on and get some. I heard now, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone in our YouTube comments said that he makes $31 million a year.
Who?
Porter Jr.
Sheesh.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up in a second. But, I mean, he's always injured. But I mean, when he's in there, I mean, the Nuggets, I mean, they're a dominant team, and maybe this is the year they break through.
Yeah, he makes $33,386,850 a year. That's what he makes. Yeah, Michael Porter. But it's Jamal. It was Murray.
Yeah, Murray for sure has a max contract with the Nuggets.
Yeah, so like Porter, I actually don't mind at those numbers, even though
I know you don't like Murray. I'm higher on Murray than you are, though.
But let's look at his numbers and what they're paying him. So he actually makes less. He actually makes less. So
they got in on him early, to be honest.
Yeah, so he does make he makes 31,650, 600 this year. Next year he's at 33,833, and then he goes to 36 million a year. It's a lot of money. $158 million max contract there with an average of 31,650.
For sure. He's still coming off that. He's still coming off that injury, so maybe he gets back to that player before. He had some seasons where it was looking like, man, he's that guy. Maybe a top 5 point guard. I wouldn't necessarily say he's top 5 right now, but would I say he could get back to that point? Maybe. So we'll see.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on this, and if we ever need an agent, Mike George at XL Sports Management is our guy. That's his agent.
Yeah, for sure.
What else do you got for us today?
Let's see. What other game did we not talk about today?
We got a ton of college hoops or NBA. The only games we've done are Cleveland Bulls. We did the Magic and the Heat, and then your game, the Nuggets.
So there was a lot of NBA today. So we talked about a lot of college hoops. Let's go with the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks today. I'll lay that 5.5 with them on their home floor. I know typically this season I have not taken the Knicks a lot on their home floor this season because they have played their best basketball outside of Madison Square Garden, as they are the best road cover team in all of the NBA. But today's more so a fade of the Utah Jazz than it is a play on the New York Knicks. The Knicks did lose yesterday to the Sixers. Both teams are on a back-to-back, but the Knicks always lose to the Sixers. You were the one that put me on that stat the other day about Joel Embiid never losing to the Knicks. He almost never loses to the Knicks. So, that wasn't surprising yesterday, but I do think they bounced back today. The Jazz should have lost that game yesterday. The Jazz have not been playing great basketball, man, over the last 5. In my mind, they've lost 4 straight. I know they got a win yesterday, but that was a collapse more so due to the Raptors than the Jazz winning that game. 5 minutes in the game, the Raptors score 5 points in the remainder of the game, up 13, and they lose the game to the Jazz. That is ridiculous. How do you score 5 points in a 5-minute segment to close out a basketball game? That's why I hate putting money on the Raptors. But the Jazz, I guess they did do it, but today, out on the road, man, they're still struggling. I think the Knicks win that one and win it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Knicks at home. I know that the Raptors did go into the toilet, but at the same, the Raptors did go into the toilet, but I think you got to give the Jazz some of the credit there too.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to give them some of it.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. But anyways, I just think that I don't know, man. I just can't get on the Knicks at home. I just can't do it.
I know.
I'm gonna take. I gotta take the points. I can't help myself.
I feel you. I think I'm gonna be on the Knicks. Think it's today we hop on them.
Yeah, but it's free pick
for sure.
Anyways, what do you got going on at Pick Dogs?
Yes, sir. I got I have 5 plays for sale tonight in the NBA, and I have 1 college basketball up there right now, but I have 3 more that's going up. They're all later, 6:00 p.m. games in college hoops. So I'm gonna have 4 college hoops. I have 5 NBA all for sale today. I got my $15 NBA jam session play up there. My best bet in the NBA every night. I've hit 4 in a row, including a winner last night with the Dallas Mavs on the money line. We've hit 14 of our last 22, trying to get back hot on that, man. And I love tonight's play as well, so you can scoop that up. I got a 3-pack and a 5-pack in the NBA, so all that over at Pick Dogs Premium. Hop on some long-term. You get everything for today, Super Bowl pick tomorrow, NBA tomorrow, all my college hoops. You know how it goes. 2-for-1 capper special, all that great stuff too, man. So keep making money, man.
All right. Well, thanks, Jay, for joining us. Thanks, everyone that's tuned in today. Let's make it a winning day. We got a massive card. Of course, we've got the best cappers in the world at Pick Dogs. You don't have to take my word for it. All the picks are 100% documented. You see on some of these other sites where they have guys selling picks, it's minus 250 odds or whatever. We don't have any of that stuff here. If it's a point spread game, then it's point spread. But for the most part, unless it's one of those light ones, it's like minus 150 or something. But, anyways, legitimate handicapping and all documented. Make it a winning day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for Super Bowl Sunday. Light card, but a card nonetheless.